I thought it was. Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. So find a nice, comfortable seated position, either on a towel or a cushion, block, somewhere where you can lengthen the back of your spine and the back of your neck, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath, excuse me, as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, we've been talking about the yamas, and that's the first limb of yoga. And in the yamas, there are 5 yamas, the second of which is called Satya. And Sat translates to true essence, true nature, unchanging, that which has no distortion. In a nutshell, it's about truth. So usually I talk about Satya in terms of your authentic self inside you. Today I'm going to focus outwardly on perspectives. So I'm reading from this card that I have. It's in a deck of cards, yogi cards, and it's titled Perspective. And it reads, coffee is better than tea. We easily recognize this as opinion, but often we struggle to separate subjective reality, the way we see the world because of our desires, our preferences, memories, and assumptions, with objective reality, the way things actually are. Coffee is coffee, tea is tea. Through our yoga practice, we learn to clear away the filters, change our perspective, and see things more objectively. As we do, we begin to break from limiting thoughts and behaviors and experience things more fully. Today, when you feel stuck or caught, take a moment to ask yourself, is this really true? So for our pranayama, one of the breaths that we use a lot, there's a nice quote about it from Emma Newlyn, and it's the Ujjayi breath, and it's she refers to it as one simple way of observing truth in our practice by paying close attention to our breath. If the breath is strained or shallow, it's likely that the body isn't happy with what it's doing. So with that Ujjayi breath, which we'll practice in a few moments, you have that sound, and you can tune into the sound, the soundtrack of your yoga practice, to kind of get a handle on where your body feels about that particular pose. The Ujjayi breath also, besides being the soundtrack, it helps synchronize the breath to your movements. It helps quiet the mind, and it slows down your breathing. So we'll do that once we start our asana practice. And for our meditation this morning, we'll just take a few moments to meditate. And the mudra we have is Tattva. And Tattva reminds us that our true nature is unchanging, pure, and whole. And to do Tattva, you have your hand outright and you place your thumb right below your ring finger. So it just comes in like that. And you can rest the back of your palm on your legs while you're doing that. So let's just take a few moments for meditation, and I will meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now, and we're going to actually start our practice today, our asana practice, by standing up. So if you join me, standing up. And we're going to do a few things a little differently to shift our perspective on how they are always done, and maybe we can kind of open the aperture of our life to accommodate things, doing things a little differently. So we'll start standing up. We'll start with our shoulder shrugs. So just gently inhaling as you lift your shoulders up toward your ears, and then exhaling as you lift them or lower them down toward the ground. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And making nice round circles, relaxing your shoulders, not winding them up and tightening them, but just unwinding them, relaxing. And then switch directions. Deep inhales and exhales. And then relax your hands by your side. And we'll do some sun breaths with the Ujjayi breath. So the Ujjayi breath again emanates from the back of your throat, makes that Darth Vader sound on your inhale and exhale. So when you lift your arms up, slowly inhale. Find that ocean sound, that Ujjayi breath sound. And then exhale. Have your best Darth Vader sound going. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One last time, inhale. And exhale. Then we're going to do our sun twist. So we're going to inhale, bring our arms up, and then twist over to the left side and bring our arms down. Sweeping our arms up will create a nice flow. Inhale, deep inhale. Swing over to the right side and bring our arms down. Deep exhale. And then nice flow. Inhale, sweeping our hands up and over. Swinging over to the left, and exhale, lowering our hands down. Do a nice big sweep again. And exhale, finding that Ujjayi sound. One last time, swing up. Over to the left, and exhale down. Then we're going to do a pose that we usually do, rear view look with the leg extension. So usually we're doing this in a runner's lunge kind of way, but we're going to do that standing up. So find the stability in your left leg, bring your right foot back, and then bring your right foot over to the left side of the mat, and then gaze down at your front foot. And if it's comfortable, turn your head and gaze at your back foot. It'll kind of wobble you a little bit. So if it gets too wobbly, just keep your gaze on your front foot. And then bring your right foot back, and we'll do that on the other side. So find a nice stability in your right foot. Bring your left foot back. Bring your left foot over to the right side of the mat. Gaze down to your right foot. And that might be comfortable where you are, or if you're able to, send your gaze back to the left foot. And then bring that left foot back. We'll do that one more time. So again, get stable in your left foot. Send your right foot back. Send your right foot over to the left side of the mat. Send your gaze down to your front foot. And then bring your gaze to your back foot. And then bring your left foot back. Get stable in your right foot. Send your left foot back. Left foot over to the right side of the mat. Send your gaze down to your right foot. And then bring it, shift it over to the left foot. You may find one side is a little bit more stable than the other side. And then bring your left foot back. Now we're going to do cat-cows. And the traditional form of cat-cows is on your hands and knees. But there are actually 4 ways of doing it. So on your hands, your knees, you can do it sitting either on the floor cross-legged or in a chair. You could do it lying down on your back, which we often do. And we do it standing up. And standing up, it's kind of like doing back bends. So I encourage you to use your support of your hands to do the back bend part. So to do the cat part, we're going to round our back and bring our gaze to our navel, our drishti, one of our 9 drishti points. So that rounds our back. And then we're going to send our head up for cow. And that would arch our back, just as if we were on our hands and knees. Again, we're going to round our back. Exhaling, looking down at our navel. Then inhale, lifting our head up, arching our back slightly. Bring our head back down, rounding our back, exhaling for cat. And then lifting our head up, sending a little bit of an arch to our back for cow. Just continue at your own pace, really tuning into your Ujjayi breath. Deep inhales, deep exhales. And one last time, coming back to a neutral spine. And then another one that we often do, it's on our hands and knees. It's a modified side plank. So envision our knee being down, our arm being down. We send one of our feet to the end of the mat. And that's a modified side plank. And then sometimes I have you lift it up. So we're going to do the lift up portion. So send your foot out to the side and lift it up, 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 and up and back. And then we'll do it on the other side. So again, envision sending your leg down to the bottom of the mat. So this hand would be on the mat and this hand would be up in the air, if you can envision that. And then lift your left leg up, 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 and one last time, up and down. So we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. Mountain pose, we'll just go through the essentials of good posture. So your toes are pointing to the long edge of your mat or straight edge or short edge of your mat to the straight edge. And lift your toes up and spread them far apart. Bring your toes back down to the mat, lifting your heels up off the mat. And then bringing your heels down, feel that real connection, that real rooting down to the earth, down to the mat. Your legs will be nice and straight, soft, gentle bend in your knees, navel's tucked to the spine. Spine is nice and long and straight, going up through the back of your neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Crown of your head's reaching up, my case to the sky. We're going to sweep our arms up overhead with a big inhale. And exhale, lower our hands down to the mat, bending our knees to support our lower back. And just take a moment to check in with your body. See how everything's doing. If you feel any tension, I have a little tension in my lower back at the moment, so I'm going to take some deep breaths and focus on sending those breaths to my lower back. And then inhale, bringing our hands up to our shins, flattening out our back, our nice long spine, sending our gaze down to the floor so we can create a nice straight line from our tailbone up to the back of our neck. And then send the crown of your head down toward the mat. Inhale, sweeping our hands up and over, up above our head, and lifting ourselves up onto our tippy toes. We'll come into palm tree and just sway here for a few moments. And then bring our heels back down to the mat. Exhale, bring our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees. Inhale, lift up to half forward fold, flattening out our back. Exhale, send the crown of our head down toward the mat. Then inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead, bringing our palms together. And then bring our right palm to our right thigh for supported side stretch. So slide your right hand down toward your right knee, creating a nice crescent shape. And inhale, bringing that hand back up to the other hand, and then dropping our left hand down. Slide our left hand down toward our knee. Nice crescent shape. Inhale, bring the hand back up. Do that again on each side. Exhaling, bring your hand down and exhale down toward your knee. Inhale, bringing your hand back up to reach the other hand, and then sliding your left hand down toward the knee with a big exhale. Tune into your Ujjayi breath here for a moment. And then inhale, bring both hands back up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, bringing both hands back down to the mat, bending your knees. Inhale, bring your hands up to your shins, flattening out your back. Nice stretch in that spine. Then bring your hands back down to the mat, bending your knees, and we'll do a few squat forward folds. So with our hands lightly touching the mat, bend your knees, bringing your hips down toward your ankles, coming up onto your balls of your feet. And then straightening out your legs, not fully, have that bend in your knees. We'll come back to the forward fold. And then again, lower your hips toward your ankles, coming down into a squat. Then inhale, lifting up your hips, coming into that forward fold position. And then the last one, lowering your hips down toward your ankles, coming up on the balls of your feet for the squat. And then we're going to sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Palms come to the back of our hips for the supported back bend. Fingertips are pointing down towards the earth. Spine is nice and straight and long. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Tucking your chin toward your chest. Just drop your shoulders back and again, tune into your Ujjayi breath. And then make adjustments if it becomes shallow. And bring your shoulders back up. How's everyone doing? I'm going to take a nice deep inhale, bringing our arms up overhead. And then exhale, hands come down to the mat, bending our knees. Placing our hands on the mat, we're going to send our right foot back to the back of the mat, coming into runner's lunge. There are left knees right over our right ankle. Yeah, try that one. Left knee over the left ankle, and your right foot's pushing your right heel to the back of the mat. I'm going to place our right hand down on the mat and sweep our left hand in a semicircle all the way up to the sky. And if you can follow your hand with your eyes, that's great. And just kind of check in with your body to see how it feels. Maybe pushing the heel a little bit stronger or putting more energy into your legs creates a better version of the pose. Bring your hand back down to the mat. We're going to take our back foot and pivot it down to the mat so that it's at a 45-degree angle. And then we're going to come up into warrior one. So push down on your front foot, sweep your hands up to the sky, and then maybe go a little bit back with your hands so that you create a nice arch, kind of like our cow pose. Then your front knee to be over your front ankle. Back edge of your foot's nice and snug into the mat. And your legs are energized. And then bring your left arm down to your left thigh. We're going to send our right hand up to the sky. And then we're going to send our left hand down to the mat. Just slide it down to the mat. And bring your right hand back down to the mat. Pivot your foot. And we're going to take our left foot and bring it to the back to join our right foot, coming into plank pose. Plank pose, our wrists are right below our shoulders. Fingers are spread apart. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. Your heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Then we're going to lift our right foot up, cross it over our left foot, and touch the right toes down to the mat. Lift our right foot back up and bring it back next to the left foot, back to the original position. We'll do that with our left foot. Lift our left foot up, cross it over the right, touch the left toes down to the mat, and then lift the left toes up and return them back to plank. And then you can gently lower to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, For chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. With our hands right below our shoulders, we're going to lift our chin and chest up gently into cobra. And then tuck our toes under and go into downward dog. So take a few moments here. Get comfortable in your downward dog. And this is one of my cards on perspective suggested doing this pose. And the point being is that normally we're standing up and looking forward. And this one, we're upside down and looking backward. So it changes our perspective on things quite a bit. We're used to our feet and our legs supporting us. In this pose, our arms are supporting us. Just a whole different way of looking at the world. So walk your feet up to your hands slowly, coming into a forward fold. And then sweep your hands from your feet all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Then we're going to lift our right foot up and send it in back of us and have it land in back of us and turn to the right, coming into our goddess pose. So our feet are at an angle, toes are pointing to the corners of the mat, heels are tucked in 45 degrees. We're going to sweep our hands all the way up, first starting with a star, and then bending our knees, lowering our hips down toward the earth, coming into goddess. Inhale, come back up to star. Exhale, come down to goddess. Inhale, back up to star. Exhale, down to goddess. We'll stay here for a moment. Deep breathing, listen to your Ujjayi breath, seeing if it starts strong and shallow. When you get to the shallow part, come back up to the star. And then we're going to lower our arms to shoulder height. Pivot our right foot so it's facing the direction of our left foot. Our left foot's pointing to the top of the mat. We'll come into triangle pose. So actually your right foot might be pointing more toward the long edge of your mat. Find that comfortable spot for that, for your leg and your knee. And then reach forward like you're taking something off a shelf and bring your left hand down to your left leg. And that might be fine, or you can slide it as far down as is comfortable for you. Sending your gaze up to your right hand. And then pull your right hand up so you come back up to standing position. Bend that front knee, coming into warrior two. Send your gaze to your left fingertips. And then send your right hand down to your right thigh as you lift your left fingertips up toward the sky, following your fingertips with your gaze for peaceful warrior. And then send your right finger or left fingertips all the way down to the mat. We pivot our back foot coming into runner's lunge. Send your left foot back to meet your right foot, coming back into plank pose. Again, your wrists are right below your shoulders. Navel tucked to your spine, supporting your back. Elevates your hips slightly. And then we're going to lift our right foot up, cross it over the left, touch down, lift up, and return it to the plank position. Lift our left foot up, cross it over the right, touch down our left toes to the mat, lift our left foot up, return it to the original position. And then lower down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the sides. Fingertips are right below your shoulders, lifting your head and chest up gently into cobra. Elbows are tucked to your sides. Gaze is straight ahead. And tuck your toes under, come up into downward dog, and pedal out your downward dog here for a few minutes. Take a look at your surroundings. See how different the perspective is. And then just walk your feet back up to your hands, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping your hands up over your head. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And take a nice deep breath. Take actually a couple nice deep breaths. And I'm going to turn my direction. I'm going to do that on the other side. So sweep your hands up overhead. And exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Both hands land on the mat. We're going to send our left foot to the back of the mat, coming into runner's lunge. And the right knees over the right ankle. Left foot's pushing to the back of the mat, feeling that energy in your legs. Left hand comes down onto the mat, and we're going to sweep our right hand up and over, up to the sky. And then bring our right hand back down to the mat. We pivot our back foot down so that it's at an angle, and then pushing down into our front foot, we'll come up to warrior one. And your knee is over your ankle. Just barely see your big toe over your knee. Back has a nice gentle bend to it. And bring your right arm down to your right thigh, sending your left fingertips up to the sky. And if it's comfortable for you, you can slide your right hand down your leg, down to the mat. And then bring your left hand back down and pivot back to runner's lunge. And then bring your right foot back, coming into plank pose. And navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips. We'll lift our right foot up, cross it over the left, touch it down, bring it back up, and bring it back into place, original position. Lift our left foot up, Cross it over the right, touch down to the mat, and return it to the original position. And then slowly lower down to the mat, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keeping your fingertips under your shoulders. Lift up our chin, lifting up our chest, coming into cobra. Elbows are tucked to our sides. And then tucking our toes under, push up into downward dog, and walk out your dog here for a few minutes. And then slowly walk your toes on up to your fingers, coming into a forward fold. And then sweep your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Take a nice couple deep breaths. And then we're going to lift our left leg up and send it in back of us, coming into goddess pose. When our toes are pointing to the corners of the mat, heels are tucked in at 45-degree angle, navel's tucked in, creating a nice long spine. We'll send our arms up into star pose, and then come bend our knees, lowering our hips down, come into goddess pose. Inhale, lift up to star. Exhale, down to goddess. Inhale, up to star. Exhale, down to goddess. Let's stay here for a moment. Tune into your Ujjayi breath. See if you can slow your heartbeat down. Then inhale, lift back up to star. And then bringing our arms down to shoulder height. We're going to pivot our left foot so it's pointing toward the short edge of the mat. Our right foot stays pointed to the, or does turn, pivot a little, to the short edge of the mat. And we'll do the triangle pose on this side. So the legs straight, front leg straight, reaching toward the shelf to take something off, and we're going to drop our right hand down to our right leg, and it might be comfortable to have it stay there, lifting your arm up perhaps, or then slide down your leg if that's comfortable, bringing your fingertips down to the mat. And then have someone help you come up by having that cosmic person lift your left hand, pulling you back up. And we'll come into warrior two. The knee goes over your ankle. Arms are at shoulder height. Gently turn to look at your right fingertips. And then lower your left arm down raising your right hand up to the sky, following your hand with a gaze. And then lowering your right hand all the way back down to the mat, coming into runner's lunge. And then bring your right foot back to plank pose. And one last time, we'll lift our right leg up, cross it over the left, touch down our toes, lift the right leg up and return it to the original position. Lift our left leg up, cross it over the right, touch the toes down, lift the left leg up, return it to the original position. And then slowly lower to the mat, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Your fingertips under your shoulders, elbows tucked to your side. Lift your chin and chest up, gently pressing up, coming up into cobra. And tuck your toes under and lift up to downward dog. That perspective of upside down, going backwards instead of frontwards. And just pedal out here, listening to your Ujjayi breath. And then slowly walk your toes on up to your fingertips. Coming into a forward fold. And then sweep your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Take 3 deep inhales and exhales. We're going to come take our pinky toes and putting them on the edge of the mat, tucking our heels into a 45-degree angle. Bring our hands to heart center and slowly, with control, lower our hips down toward the mat. Bringing our torso between our knees, placing our elbows against the inner part of our knees. Wide-legged squat. And if you'd like to gently lower your Ujjayi Mudra down toward the mat. With her hands. And then you can lower your hips down to the mat, coming into staff pose. So staff pose is where we feel our sit bones. So if it helps to make little fists of your hands and push down, lifting your hips off the mat and then lowering your hips down so you can really feel those sit bones, get them anchored right. Our toes are flexed up toward the sky. Back is nice, straight and tall. You can put a blanket under here too to help support your lower back. And we'll do sage pose. So we're going to take our right leg and cross our right foot over our left knee. And we can wrap our arm around our right knee, or if you want a little bit more twist, you can take the back side of your elbow, leaning it to the outer edge of your knee. Your right hand goes right behind your hips, and your gaze twists and turns over your right shoulder to the right. And then bring yourself back to staff pose. Once again, finding your sit bones. Toes are flexed up to the sky. Back is nice and straight and tall. We'll lift our left leg up, placing our left foot on the outer side of our right leg. You can wrap your arm around your left leg, bringing your left fingertips and back, or if you want a little bit more twist, the outer or the back of your elbow to go to the outer part of the knee and twist toward the left so that you're gazing over your left shoulder. And then return back to staff pose. You roll down. You can roll down one vertebrae at a time, either slowly with control or express by tucking your hands under your knees and just rolling on back. Either one. And bring your knees to your chest and give them a nice gentle hug. You rock your body so that you're kind of massaging your lower back. Now we're going to take our hands and place them on our knees and do some rowboats. So we're going to extend our arms fully, pushing our knees toward the end of the mat. And then bringing the soles of our feet together, opening up our knees so they're apart. And then guide our knees back up toward our shoulders. And then bring our knees together over our chest. Give a nice hug. We'll do that several more times. You can create a flow if you like. So push your knees away, extending your arms fully. Bring the soles of your feet together, opening up your knees. Guide your knees back toward your shoulders. And then close them over your chest. Give a nice hug. And continue on, extending, opening the knees, drawing the knees back, and closing the knees over the chest. See if you can synchronize it with your breath. And do one last time, and we'll meet where our knees are over our chest. We will take our arms, bring them out to each side at shoulder height. And then we're going to exhale, lowering our knees to the right side of the mat. And then slowly turn our head to the left to look at our left fingertips. Slowly roll your head back to center. And then inhale, lifting your legs back to center. And then exhale, lowering your left legs to the left side of the mat. And slowly turn your head to look at your right fingertips. And slowly roll your head back to center. Inhale, lifting your legs back up to center. And then extend your legs to the bottom of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. Bring your heels to each corner of the mat and let your feet just drop open. Just relax from your toes on up to your nose. Perhaps taking deep inhales and then deep exhales. And on the exhale, just allow your body to sink deeper and deeper into the mat as if you're lowering deeply into a cloud. Arms are at your side, the palms are open to the sky. A gentle smile is placed on your lips. Today I have a story for you. It's the story of the blind men, the story of the blind men and the elephant is a traditional Indian story about a group of blind men who have never encountered an elephant before. They learn what the elephant is like by touching it. One puts his hand on the elephant's side and says, "Now I know all about an elephant. He's just like a wall." The second feels the elephant's tusks and responds, "No, you're mistaken. He's not at all like a wall. He's more like a spear." The third takes hold of the elephant's trunk and argues, "You're both wrong. An elephant is like a snake." The fourth touches the elephant's ear and says, "You're all wrong. He's like a huge fan." The fifth grabs hold of the elephant's tail and concludes, "He's not any of those things. He's like a rope." This story is usually told to illustrate the tendency to make false assumptions based on our limited perspective. The truth is that the elephant is not just one or two of these perspectives, but the sum of all of these perspectives. The truth asks us to enlarge our vision of what is.